twice. If you haven't seen this film, I'm about to completely spoil it for you. So I would urge you to go and watch it before watching this. It's the directorial debut of Zoe Kravitz, and it is a masterful effort, one that reminds me of, the first time I saw Tarantino or the Coen brothers. There's a great mixture of horror, violence, tension, character development, but also comedy. The needle drop is fantastic, and the score by Chanda Dancy not only is fantastic, but it's also amazingly executed by the music department and the sound department. I'm going to look at a cue, and a cue is basically the start and the end of a bit of music. Again, if you haven't seen the film, I'm about to really fucking spoil it for you. So on your head be it. And also, if you're a bit squeamish, don't like violence and stuff, I just wouldn't watch on.
Muffins. What?
Oh shit.
Come here, you motherfucker! What the fuck?
Babe, we could talk about this, all right? Let's not freak out. Oh shit, babe! What the fuck? Babe! Fuck!
That's gonna open up beautifully.
Get off of me!
You got her?
Yeah, I got her.
Absolutely masterful. Everything working together so well. Observing well-established cinematic tropes and breaking some of them at the same time, but all for the sake of maximum dramatic effect. So I'm just going to go through it bit by bit, and there will be a whole bunch of assumptions I make to how these decisions have been made and why they've been made. So anyone who's involved in the production will probably find this quite amusing, but this is from what I can gather. We start with this percussion loop.
You smell different.
So the loop starts as a reaction to the scream. They're very much in their own moment. It's broken by her scream. Music starts. It then is completely muted out for Haley Joel Osment's. You can see his throat is cut. He's not emoting. So in order to give him a sense of humanity, I guess, what do you do? Or do you just push the music back? Or do you just mark it? What happens with that moment is that it then allows him hitting the water to have that dramatic effect. At which point a kick drum, which is distorted to give us that tonal quality, and a metallic hit comes in. Now, what's interesting is that it comes in on the splash. The splash has a lot of white noise, and I think what happens by bringing the kick in there, it gives you an impact that is super hyped and really hypes up the drama. You'll also notice that the stabs are nowhere near the metallic hits. So they're not working in symphony, they're working in concert with each other. The metallic hits are giving this slightly ritualistic feel whilst we're still hearing the knife going into the flesh. Yeah, I think that's what's interesting about the stabs is they're not musical at all. Now, Chanda lifts the kick here. For the impact of the guy going into the girl, which again is a very hyped sound. It's not the sound of one body hitting another. It's more of a doof. And if the kick was there, you wouldn't get that sound of him being a heavy bloke overwhelming this woman. Also, it allows us, the kick lifting, but the brighter loop at the top, the kick lifting allows us to hear them hit the deck.
I found some more muffins. What?
This is lifting for a comedy beat. Where comedy is concerned, you don't want to accentuate it with the music. It's like adding an exclamation mark to the end of a sentence always makes that sentence way less funny. It's interesting that the music is not broken by the bite. We're lifting for dramatic effect on the entrance of the guy going, I found a muffin. And doesn't step on the joke, leaves that beat. But getting back in, how does Chanda do that?
I found some more muffins. What? What?
So we're coming in on the picture cuts, convenient, hard cut in back to the music. So lift.
I found some more muffins.
And it's interesting, that's very much a musical edit. Again, I think that where you have musicality and comedy, those interplay very well. That, I think, if anything, is as much as Chanda can do to accentuate the comedy at that point by it lifting.
Muffins. What? What?
Oh, shit.
That's a duck. So you hear the dubbing engineer just pulling it back for the dialogue, and I think holding it back for her shouting and her footsteps.
Come here, you motherfucker! What the fuck?
Babe, we could talk about this.
So we've got a new element coming in. I may be totally wrong here, but I think this is an element either added by the music editor or the sound designer, sound editor. I think that it's an afterthought that's been added to the score. It seems independent of the score, I wouldn't say strangely. The thing that points me to that is I'm not entirely sure that the composer Chanda would have decided to play a synth drone that is a semitone above the rest of the cue. Maybe an artistic decision, but you'll see here it feels more like a tonal sound effect than part of the score.
Babe, we could talk about this, all right? Let's not freak out. Oh, shit, babe! Ah, what the fuck? Ah, babe!
Interesting, there's use of a sting there, so there is actually a tonal component. Sounds like it's part of the score because that's not in the same key as the drone, it's in the same key as the cue, and basically she's going like that, which really doesn't create a noise. This is one of the few occasions where the score, I think there's maybe two other stings, the score accentuates the fuck, allowing the audience to go ah, but also there's a line coming up which is another comedy beat, so they've conveniently got the score out for both his reaction and her comedy beat.
Oh, shit, babe! Ah, what the fuck?
That's gonna gonna open up beautifully.
Up to this point, from the entry of the music cue, we've not heard the chickens at all. So I think there's an artistic choice that probably made the sound department giggle, is to make him even more pathetic than he is. No music, no, I'm angry. It's like, They've put the sound of a chicken on it as well. But I mean, that's in shot. There's a reason for it. But up to that point, we hadn't heard them.
That's gonna open up beautifully.
Now, this is when the picture, sound and music is really working in symphony. And you can really see that the picture has been edited to the music, or indeed a temp track that's exactly this tempo. But if you click along, you'll see, I'll do it in eighths. So the thing's in 6/8. Click along, it's very close to those eighth beats. And I guess there is a degree of balleticism in this particular bit. So at first, when it's just like her stabbing at the beginning of the cue, it's very unmusical, but suddenly it's like she's got her shit together and it becomes a bit of a dance. Time signature change. And it's interesting, the point at which we lose that rhythmic symbiosis is when the woman really starts losing it. Up until that point, it's fairly like people have got their shit together, and then that's the point where anger takes over. This is, for me, the point at which it's proven that the music department and the sound department have got on, because again, those kind of kick drums, that kind of upfront music only works if it's right up in the mix. Problem being that the kick drum is nearly as loud as the gunshot, which is why I think they have to lift. So there's a tiny bit of daylight. This is probably a difficult bit of the dub, emotionally, psychologically, to go, well, how do we basically make the gunshot a surprise, a new sound that we haven't heard yet in this cue? And I think that's to give it a little bit of a, why is all the air being sucked out of the room? Bang, it's broken by a new sound. It sounds like an editorial decision as well. It's not done at a musical point, it's done at a very interesting part of the bar. Dun, 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 dun. And you can hear that it hasn't got the kind of rounded edge of the kick. So that is a boom, hit the mute button. Lots of spot effects here. So getting the drama from him spitting out the blood, and the very much hyped sound of the chicken walking across. Again, you wouldn't hear that. Maybe he would. This is my favourite bit. What Kravitz is doing is taking away the music to create an even greater sense of drama.
Get off of me!
You got her?
Yeah, I got her.
even without the music, there's so little going on. And I think that this is the temptation, particularly in this country, there's a temptation just laden everything on so it's immersive and thick. When they go into the forest, the atmosphere is really quiet. And in fact, her steps are quieter. They're not hyped. They're actually way quieter than they probably would be, considering the proximity of the camera. And that is to make the crack, that cinematic trope, as loud as humanly possible. But I just love the way that we come in. New tempo, new key, completely different cue, which is preceded by this wide shot, but with nothing in it. When the lights go on, that sound is just so wicked. Yeah, we've got her breath, and it's not, they haven't had to push that. It feels, it's a little bit hyped from where she is, but it feels natural. So again, the impact, that noise of the lights going on, it just wouldn't make any noise at all. Have you ever switched a light on, an outdoor light, and it sounds like that? It's total hype, but it works so well. Next cue.
Get off of me!
Got her?
Now.
Yeah, I got her.
Here. Nothing. A little bit of footsteps. Atmos. Tiny, tiny, tiny. There we go. Masterpiece. The reason I think it's in 2 cues and not a bunch of cues that have been kind of loosely placed together is I do believe the first part is a cue. I do believe it's been written to picture, and I do believe the editor has worked with that cue. The reason being, there's a couple of little signs there that the stops and starts, whilst they may have been like heavily muted out on the dubbing stage or indeed by the music editor, they're happening at really weird points of the bar, and the restarts are not happening at the top of the bar. Now, if you've got a picture editor or a sound editor or a dubbing engineer moving stuff around, what they tend to do is they'll grab the beginning of something and restart with that. Whereas this is coming in the middle of bars. There's definitely one music edit in there, and I've wondered if you've spotted it yet. So let's have a little look. I've basically jam synced this against a fixed tempo, and you'll see that the cue stays in time, even though the time signature changes, and even though there's one really evident music edit that's definitely done by a music editor. I know a composer would have approached that music edit differently. And it's one of those amazing things, you don't notice it. When you hear it against the click, you go, what? So let's have a listen.
More muffins. What? What?
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
Come here, you motherfucker!
Babe, we could talk about this, all right? Let's not freak out. Oh, shit, babe! Ah, what the fuck? Ah, babe!
That's gonna open up beautifully.
There's an example of it. It's not starting at the beginning of the bar. Dum dum ba dum is the one.
That's gonna open up beautifully.
just love this point here. It just, everything locks together. But let's see if we can spot the music edit. There. And the only reason I've noticed it is because everything is working so symphonically with each other. But you'll hear that they're basically getting the kick drum out of the way. There's an impact on that cut there, which is dramatic, that the kick is doing. Is there a sound that it's getting out of the way for? Yeah, interesting. Let's hear that without the click. It becomes really obvious. It's just delayed ever so slightly, and I think it's so the second kick hits the picture cut. If I was composing to it, I'd just do some little tweaks with the tempo so that you wouldn't get what is clearly being a little bit of a, little flex time thing. So this, for me, is a clear example of when departments are talking to each other. And also, no doubt, certainly judging by this debut effort, masterful direction from Kravitz. I think it's a great example of less being more, of giving the director, the storyteller, some very defined, determined and purposeful elements. It's like really good Italian or Japanese cooking, of not everyone just piling stuff on, using reality, hyper-reality, drama created by the score, but also the drama by removing it to create a percussive climax that I think is it's just so fucking enjoyable to watch. And as I said before, if you're writing a score that has these kind of elements, those slightly, dare I say it, hip-hoppy, trip-hoppy elements, you have to plead with the director to make sure that it is heard, because it just sounds so wank unless it's really, really loud. We all know how loud kicks figure within hip-hop records, and that is as much to do with the relativity between the level of that and the other instruments, the vocals, as it is to do with how fat it is. I think the use of the metallic clank is, again, masterful, because what you've got is a lot of white noise, a lot of noise going on, and that can really make your score sound very small. By creating something that's a clang, is totally unrelated to anything that's going on screen, you can reverberate that and give it a sense of place and cinematic epicness. I recently did something for Inside Number 9. The director really liked it, and I just said, you have to listen to me. If you don't turn this up as loud as it can be, it'll be completely meaningless. And I actually got in touch with the sound guys and said, listen, you know this already, but with these type of sounds, these electronic hard kicks, it's all about them being absurdly loud. And that only happens when you've got departments liking each other. I hope this has been a useful exercise, and maybe it's something we can return to. Let me know in the comments down below if you would like me to do something like this again. But also, I'm sure you have lots of questions for me. I do read the comments. When there are questions that I feel I can answer in a way that's useful, I will respond to them. So stick them in the comments down below. Have you had an experience of putting these mixed elements of orchestral and trip-hoppy, hip-hoppy stuff and have been underwhelmed by how they sounded compared to how they sounded when you were working on them? Again, please let me know in the comments down below. One of those, always great. Thanks for watching to the end. Subscriptions are our lifeblood. If you haven't, there's loads more stuff like this coming up. Ding the bell to be notified the next time I put a video up. See you next time.